Hi everyone, Mrs. Langless here with another remote art project, and we had so much success with the leaf mandalas last week that I thought it would be fun for us to take a look at drawing actual full mandalas. And so I was doing some research actually on YouTube of some different videos, and I found a really amazing tutorial, like a how to draw mandalas. So I'm going to share that with you after this video. I got a lot of my ideas from her video, and so I'm just going to show you how I kind of went about it, and I'd also like you to watch hers because I think it's really, really helpful. So anyway, a mandala is typically a circular design where, you know, everything's radiating out from the center, and there's a lot of repetition happening. And when you're drawing it, that repetition really is kind of almost like entrancing. It kind of you know, makes you relax. You really kind of get into a zone. So I find it really fun and sort of a nice practice, almost like a brain break. So if you need, you know, just a moment to kind of like reset, recharge, maybe you're in between classes or something, this is a really good way to kind of, in a way, it's kind of like a doodle. So here is what our mandalas will potentially look like when we're done. Now, everyone's is going to be different. If you want it to just stay in black and white, that's fine. You can do this in pencil. You can do it with a pen. I did mine with a Sharpie. I might even try, I have a green Sharpie here that I got at a conference. And so I think I might even try using the green. So anyway, here is the one that I was playing around with this morning. And let me show you how you get started. So one of the ways that seems to be helpful to get started, since it is a circular design, is actually to start with a circle right in the center of your paper. And I will tell you, I actually cut my paper to be a square. You could even make it a smaller square than this, like make it a smaller mandala, or you can do it on a full sheet of paper. It's really up to you. For this one, you don't really have to use your project paper, so if you want to save that for a different one, you can, and just use a regular white piece of paper or whatever you have on hand. So again, you can use pencils, you can use pens. Like I got a couple of different things out. I have a thin Sharpie, I have a blue pen and a black pen, so I was going to kind of play around with that. I think I'll do the green Sharpie just because I'm excited to see what it looks like when I do it in color. So first I'm going to start out with a circle, and instead of making an actual circle, I'm just going to make a little spiral just to kind of have fun with it. Now, you know, you could be a perfectionist and, you know, want it to be an absolute perfect circle, but where's the fun in that? So just, you know, make the best circle that you can right in the center. And then you can kind of just repeat shapes or lines around in the circle. So I think what I'm going to do is now do a bunch of little circles that are kind of joining together. You know, and now that I'm trying this green Sharpie, I'm noticing that it's really kind of dried out. So I might switch it up here. I think I am. I'm going to switch now to this thin black Sharpie, and we'll see how this works. So I did the spiral. Now I did some circles going around. I think I'm going to do some petals next. So I'm just going to take and make some petal shapes. And the artist with the video that I'm also sharing with you has some really good tips for making sure that your petals are all the same shape. I'm not super concerned about that, so you'll see that this one's like a lot bigger than the rest. I don't really mind those little irregularities, so I'm just going to keep going with it. And I think, you know what, I kind of like that, so I'm going to do now another petal right beyond that last petal, oops, that I just made. And there are ways to kind of clean up little mistakes that you make if you're not going in pencil. Oh, and I just did a third, so you know what? I'm going to have to do that all the way around. So again, I'm just repeating, and you can see that this is all just happening on the fly here. You know, this is not real planned out. I'm just making it what it is as I go around, which is kind of what makes it, in a way, a doodle. So I think on this next one, I'm going to try a different petal style. So I'm going to start halfway between this one, and I'm just going to make a pointed petal. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to go halfway. Oh, did I skip to 3? I did on that one. So here we go. 3, And we'll see, hopefully math-wise it works out, because I could end up with trouble here. And this is what that other artist was talking about. Like, it's really good to kind of plan it out numbers-wise. But again, I'm not a huge numbers person, as you know. That's why I'm an art teacher. And so I'm just kind of making it work. All right, so there's my mandala so far. Let's see, what do I want to do next? I think I'm going to make some triangles right here. Oh, I made it a little bit too thin, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. So sometimes the joy of making art is in the mistakes that you make, right? Like that, right there, just as I was saying it. My goodness. All right. And we are going to find a way to make that work in the end. Okay, so now I've got that. I think what I'm going to do next is make some really wide round shapes. We'll see how this turns out. And again, this is just really spontaneous. I am not making these mistakes on purpose. This is real. Oh boy. So now I think what I need, I'm going to go ahead and make just some spikes around and around here. And you will notice that the video that you watch, her mandalas are so beautiful and uniform, and they're really wonderful. It's kind of fun to watch. All right, so there's that. And now what I'm going to do is just make some petals again. So in between each of these, I'm just going to come back and make my rounded petals. It's kind of cool with that little bit of green in the middle, I think. And again, my petals are not all the same, and that is okay. I am really trying, by the way, to speak louder, because I've been hearing from students and also from parents that I'm not talking loud enough into or in the videos. So I'm really trying to shout today, so I apologize if you actually had to turn down your volume this time around. All right, the next one I'm going to do, let's see. Now I'm going to join this again. And I'm trying to make the peak of this line up with the peak of the last one. See if I can kind of make it all connect, or make it all look like, you know, I planned this. Again, some of them are farther spaced out than others. And I'm just going to keep on going. And you can decide whenever, you know, your mandala is big enough for you've got your like last layer. So I'm just going to take a look at it for a minute. I think it's probably big enough. So here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to start to go back in and embellish, okay? So what I might do is, remember how I said I didn't love this one right here? I'm going to grab now my thick Sharpie, and I'm going to actually color that in. And again, if you don't have Sharpies, you just have regular markers, that's fine too. So maybe I'll do a shape like this. Oh, I kind of like how that looks. So now I'm just going to go ahead. And so you can color certain areas in. I'm going to do this on all of them now. So it looks like a little bit more planned out here. Kind of like it. It's almost like a little fish scale pattern, or, I mean, fish scale shape, I should say. Okay. All right, and the next thing you can do is, sometimes I just like to use dots a lot. So I'm going to come to each of these and just make some dots that go from the point in. It's just kind of a nice motif to use. Now here, I might actually make just some triangles over and over again. So it's kind of fun to work back into these. Another thing that I like to do, and I'm not going to make you watch through this whole drawing here, is that I like to add in some lines. And then what I'll do when I finish all these lines is I'll just make some lines going up. Almost look like little leaves now at the end. So I can continue this. So it's kind of fun to, you know, create the overall mandala and then work back into it. And then you just keep on repeating over and over again. You can color in certain areas. You could actually, you know, get some markers and color in certain spots. Just kind of play around with it. If you do want to keep it in just black and white, that's fine too. Wherever you want to take this is fine with me. So I feel like my video is getting kind of long now, so I'm going to cut it short before I finish this. I will look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Please watch the other video that I'm going to post because I think it's got some really great tips, and certainly a mandala artist that is much more practiced than me, so you can get some good information from her. So thank you for your hard work. Make sure that after you finish your mandala, you snap a photo and send it to me. Once we finish with mandalas next week, we'll be moving on to something new. So looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Hope you're all doing well. See you next time.